Hi guys, this is Sean and welcome to our garden here in Hogen. So I will just give an update since the summer is about to end on the plants that we planted and the harvest that we had. We really had a very warm weather, and some of the plants did not really survive and have problem adapting to the high temperature. So for example, like lettuce, when the temperature is very high and the soil is very dry, it resulted to bolting, wherein they started to produce flowers, affecting the quality and the plant itself. Same also for the spinach. The spinach that we had this year tend to bolt very early. So we planted different kinds of cabbage. So we have red cabbage, kale, broccoli, white cabbage, and these are spinach. And we also have Brussels sprouts. I don't like Brussels sprouts, guys. So, and these are we call it puree, onion leeks, and these are our potatoes. On this side, we also have our broccoli and lettuce. And then we have our red cabbage and another row of lettuce. Most of the lettuce that we planted are grown by seeds. So we just buy some seeds and we sow them and let them germinate. And after a few days, when they are big enough, we transfer them to the garden. I planted some radish next to the onion leeks, but then the radish that we have are not so good because it's very dry and warm. So I keep the plants to collect some seeds so that I can grow them in the future. In this side of the garden, these are koolrabi, rapkol. I don't know the name in English. And on the far right corner, I also planted there courgette. So these are the koolrabi after a few weeks. And I also planted there some radish and some lettuce. So these are the radish. They flowered too early. So instead of removing the plants, I just keep them so that I can collect seeds later. And these are some kale and some of the red cabbage, and these are the spinach which are not doing good. And then I also planted some beans. So we have two kinds of beans, the green one and the yellow one. Then I have my kangkong. These are water spinach. And I already harvested from this pot. Then our red cabbages are almost ready. And the broccoli, we also harvested some broccoli. And some of the potatoes are already ready. So we started digging them and we use them immediately. So we harvested all of the spinach, and then I started to sow carrots because the carrots that we've grown before did not do well. The kale are ready, and here I also planted some rows of carrots. And look at our beans, they are also started to bear some flowers. Here you can find a row of carrots. They are still very small, and I hope they can grow good. They will grow good. And then we have here the kale. And here I also planted some carrots, a row of carrots. And I have planted here gray onion leeks. These are the beans. And look at our tomatoes. So we have two kinds of tomatoes. The one is given by Sinaida, another Filipina friend, and the other is another kind. Then we go to our greenhouse. Here we prepare all the seeds and seedlings. We also planted here some tomatoes and some pepper. So these are all indoors and they are grown in pots. I don't eat tomatoes except for soup and spaghetti. But then, according to my father-in-law, the tomatoes that we've grown here inside the greenhouse taste not so good compared to the one that is grown outside. They are of the same variety, the same plants, even from the one given by Sinaida also. But according to him, they tasted differently. So these are my kohlrabi after a few months. Look how big they are. Then I planted some marigold along the perimeter of the garden to keep away those insects and bugs. And I think they help a lot because I've seen not so many aphids this year. Then our beans are almost ready. So you can see here we have the yellow beans and we also have the green beans. So after a few days, we can start harvesting them. Remember, I told you about the carrots that I planted. So these are the carrots. They seem good. So I hope they will continue to grow like that. And these are some lettuce. So if you notice here, the potatoes are already gone. So we started uprooting them, but then they still remain in the ground. So these are some lettuce that bolted. You can see it grows like that. And they begin to start producing some flowers. And these are broccoli and cabbage, red cabbage. Then my kohlrabi are doing very good. They are very healthy and they grow good. And also here you can find the courgette. They started to produce some flowers. So here you can see all of the beans are already gone. And then I am planning to plant here some pechay and some lettuce. These are my paprika. They are still green, so we don't harvest them yet. So these are all radish, which I planted from the seeds that I collected from the other plants. And I have here my bitter gourd. We call it ampalaya in the Philippines. This is my favorite vegetable, so I am very happy to have them here in my garden.